Friends, family, faculty, school board members, and graduates, welcome to Elma High School's class of 2021 graduation. As we get started with our ceremony, please take a moment and silence your cell phones or electronic devices. Over the next hour, we will celebrate the work that these young men and women have completed to get to this milestone. However, in this moment, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank those that helped them get on this stage today. The staff at Elma School District are dedicated to not only educating students, but creating citizens and promoting creativity within each student. This is done so these young men and women can make educated decisions beyond that of the classroom, and is made possible because of the teamwork of the teaching staff, maintenance department, grounds, food service, transportation, volunteer, Elma Police and Fire departments, and many other people within our district and community. At this time, I will ask that if you are an employee or volunteer of Elma School District, please stand so that we may recognize you. Thank you. As each of these students moves through their lives, they will further see the importance of family and the help they receive from the individuals closest to them. They will reflect on these teachings and they will pass on this knowledge to their own families. They will learn the joys, the frustrations, and the patience that is inherent in raising a child. If you are a parent or a guardian of one of these graduates, please stand so that we may recognize you for your work. And thank you to everyone who helped get our graduates on this stage tonight. And graduates, my only words for you this evening is that I hope as you navigate your lives after this day, that you're able to distinguish between what you want the most and what you want right now. You will find that if you settle for what you want right now too many times, you will lose track of what you want the most. Long-term goals require long-term commitments. So know what you want and be prepared to do the work to get it. In nature, eagles fall out of the nest and crash to the ground before they learn to fly. Don't be afraid to fall. People are celebrated in public only after doing the hard work in private. Think how many times you have failed to get to this point tonight. And now we will celebrate you in public for learning from those challenges. So let's get to it. At this time, let's all rise for our national anthem performed by the Elma High School Choir Seniors.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the
right order here. Change the back seat. We will now hear the student speeches. Each of the students speaking here has earned the right to express their thoughts and viewpoints. We ask that everyone provide them with the respect they deserve as they express those thoughts. Presenting the Valedictorian Address, this year's valedictorian, Jasmine Rabb.
The year is 1950. As North Korean troops approached the city of Wonju in Gwangwon-do province, my great-grandfather hid my grandmother and her sisters in the mountains to protect them from the bloody battles of the Korean War. The unified Korea that my grandmother once knew was being torn apart for the political gain of other countries. Families were split up and millions of people died because the once great hermit kingdom had been caught in the crossfires of the Cold War. My grandmother and her sister spent years surviving off the land and many more to recover from the trauma of war. Despite the broken state of the Korean nation and people, my grandmother was strong and raised several children in a poor farming district near Seoul. The year is 1987. My mother began working in a textile factory as a child laborer. She was exploited by factory owners, forced to work in horrible conditions, all to support her family. Living at the poverty line in the rapidly growing Korean economy forced my mother to abandon her studies for work. The year is 2004. This was the year of my birth and the beginning of my mother's immigration process. She came to the U.S. with the aspiration of living the American dream and providing a better life for her children. The Korean proverb, "고생 끝에 낙이 온다," translates to, "At the end of hardship comes happiness." After all the hardships that the women before me had to endure, happiness should have ensued. Instead, they were greeted with ignorance and violence. The year is 2021. Hate crimes targeting Asian Americans are on the rise. Due to the misinformation surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, anti-Asian rhetoric is widespread in the United States. Over 6,000 attacks targeting those of Asian descent have been documented since the March of 2020, and the number continues to increase every day. People are attacking our elders and our children simply for the way they look. Our families escaped war-torn countries, leaving us vulnerable to generational trauma, and instead of sympathy, we are greeted with violence against our identities. We are scared for our lives and our futures. It's not just Asian Americans. The police brutality against African Americans and the murders of Indigenous women show the true colors of this nation, the color of blood. Minorities do not want to divide this country. We just want our voices to be heard. We are terrified that our lives will be cut short. We have ambitions that we want to see through. We want to be safe. The victims of the Atlanta spa shootings, Delana Yan, Paul Michaels, Xiao Jietan, Dao Yofeng, Hyunjung Grant, Suncha Kim, Sun Chung Pak, and Yonga Ayu, and victims of police brutality, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and many more did not deserve their fate. They deserve to live. We will keep saying their names and will never forget the heinous acts committed against them. Recently, the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act was signed into law. While laws such as these do help, we need to address the root of this problem, ignorance. Racism is not inherent. It is taught. Educating the masses is the best way to combat racist ideologies ingrained into the system. I want to use my platform here today to raise awareness about the systemic racism minorities in this country face. Listen to us. We are struggling and we need help. We are your family, your friends, your coworkers, your students, your teachers, and your partners. This is not something you can ignore. It is our daily lives, and we are tired of dealing with constant discrimination. Something in this country needs to change, or we have failed our own people. Our generation needs to be the one to stand up against bigotry and change the way we treat minorities in the United States. We are people too, and want to be treated as such. Our voices will no longer be silenced, and we will only get louder if nothing is done. We are angry, we are tired, we are scared. Hear our voices and learn. We can only achieve greatness if we are united as one. Thank you.
And now, the Salutatorian Address presented by this year's Salutatorian, Sage Ainsworth.
Good evening, family, friends, faculty, and fellow graduates. Thank you for making it to Elma High School's Class of 2021 graduation ceremony, both those who can make it here in person as well as those that are watching on the live stream. I'm going to be honest here. I'd first like to state that I'm not the best public speaker, nor speechwriter. I wrote this speech very last minute. And of the speeches I've given, I've cried during nearly every single one. This is my biggest audience, by far, yet. So let's hope I can get over this fear right now. Today is an important day. Today we achieve one of the biggest milestones we can this early on in our lives. All of us here have successfully mastered an incredibly challenging course of study and are now preparing to enter the adult world as just that, adults. For many of us, being an adult may seem unfathomable, let alone succeeding as one. And while success may be relative, we are still beholden to the standards held up by our own society. Success seems almost impossible now. Despite this apparent impossibility, many of us, many of you, will still make it there. And for those of us who don't, well, it's not so bad. Being unsuccessful doesn't mean being a failure, and it certainly doesn't mean being unhappy. You make your own path. I stand before you, giving this speech for no other reason than I am the salutatorian. But for being the second highest in my class, that doesn't necessarily mean that I am the second brightest. For example, if I really was that smart, I would have aimed for third so I wouldn't have to give this speech. I'm not special just for being able to score higher on exams than others, and many of you will outperform me in the future. We are separated from each other today only by an arbitrary rating system that has little to no bearing on who we are and what we can and will achieve. What really sets people apart is not what they know, but how they use what they know. Grades will not determine your success in life. Those C students out there will have as much of a chance to succeed as those with A's. Getting there is as simple as wanting it and putting in the effort to make it happen. That's not to say you should work yourself to death, though. Trust me, I know. I'd like to tell you a time I've struggled, so hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. During my time in Running Start, I took a biology course, in which the majority of my grade was outlined by 4 major exams. I foolishly chose not to take the first 2 very seriously, and it completely tanked my grade. So I thought for the 3rd exam, I would study as hard as I could. I stayed up several nights in a row, memorizing every piece of information inside and out. So then when I started the 3rd exam, I was completely confident that I would get a near perfect score. I received my grade, and lo and behold, it was the exact same grade I got in the first 2. Fun. Now I panicked, because if I failed to meet that absurdly high bar I had set for myself on my final exam, my grade wouldn't be anywhere near where it needed to be. I knew from the 3rd exam, cramming would not help me. So instead, I decided for this one last exam, I would only study during allotted times and not a moment more. The night before the exam, I went to bed early and cooked myself a nice healthy breakfast, as if I hadn't a care in the world that day. I was much less confident in my understanding of the content I was being tested on, but I was sure that my new plan would work. It had to. A few days later, I received my grade, and while I did it, I managed to just barely squeak in enough points to get where I wanted to be, and my grade was saved. So what's my point? What am I saying? Well, an absurd subversion of the common phrase, working hard or hardly working, I propose work healthier, not harder, as the moral here. Spending more time and effort on something than is healthy can be extremely damaging to our brains, and in the end can cause you to perform poorly. Knowing when to stop working, when to stop thinking, and when to stop caring can benefit both the quality and efficiency of your work, and the overall quality of your life as well. Taking it breezy and letting life throw you around isn't necessarily the greatest of life's philosophies, but knowing when and where to choose breezy is an important skill that even the most successful of us have difficulty mastering. Sometimes the relaxed and less prepared will outperform the tense know-it-alls, so take life easy and don't give up hope. I'd like to leave you today with an important quote. If you want momentum, you'll have to create it yourself, right now, by getting up and getting started. Ryan Holiday wrote this as a part of his book, The Obstacle is the Way, in which he argues that it is not the obstacles that we face that define us, but how we choose to face said obstacles. This next step in our lives is going to be a tremendously difficult hurdle for all of us, and we're going to need as much momentum as we can get to push through it. So start now, get up, get started. Whatever it is you're thinking, go for it, because if you don't start now, you might not have the time later. And for old time's sake, this concludes my presentation.
Nice job, you guys. At this time, the Eagle High School Choir will perform Fly Away Home. It was very well done. The choir is under the direction of Mr. Aaron Zazenhaus. Now presenting the faculty speaker address, Mr. Tyler Renz.
Good afternoon, class of 2021. Let me begin by thanking you for the opportunity to share some of my thoughts about your next step in life. I could stand up here and recite all of the things that you were unable to do over the last year and a half, but that's going to do nothing for us other than bring us down. Let me find my spot here. Instead, I would rather share with you what I believe we have all learned this year and the previous 3 years you have been in high school. I want you to remember back to your first day at Elma High School. You're more than likely a timid, smaller version of yourself that was probably overwhelmed with all the differences from middle school to high school. You know now that being able to chew gum and use pens is a big deal. You are more than likely struggled finding your classes or knowing which lunch you were supposed to go to or other issues that may have plagued your first few days. But as each day went on, your routine became more normal, it became second nature, and soon you belonged here. You have grown in the last 4 years in ways that you may not even realize. Today marks the beginning of your next step in life. You're about to leave the safety net that has been your education. You're about to be responsible for yourself. For some of you, it'll be the first time. For others, it's nothing new. Regardless of your situation, get ready, because life can slap you in the face when you're not expecting it. Unfortunately, as much as we all want you to succeed, there are going to be times in your future where you get knocked down. You're going to have failures, you're going to experience tragedy, and you're going to have to make a choice in that moment. You're going to have to choose whether you tuck tail and hide, or you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and figure out how to move forward in a healthy manner. In your tool belt of skills that you have been procuring and assembling over the years, your ability to persevere is going to be one of your most crucial ones. Now, don't get me wrong, life is not all failures and challenges. You're also going to have many successes. I will not be surprised when I open a newspaper or come across a news article on Facebook down the road to see that a lot of you have made some amazing accomplishments. It might be your first thought to want to brag and boast about how awesome you are, but I challenge you to think about being humble. As Bryant McGill said, people often mistake a humble person for a weak person. That is a mistake. The mentally strong and most talented people I know are people that you would never suspect of anything other than being quote-unquote normal. These people succeed in their accomplishments for themselves. They pride themselves on being mentally healthy only for themselves because, let's be frank, it really doesn't matter what other people think about you. It matters what you project that you think about yourself. Now, I hope you aren't all falling asleep. If you hang in with me for just a little bit longer, I have one more piece of advice. But at least you're comfortable. Your chairs look a little bit more comfortable this year. You're headed out into this big, scary world, and I want you to be brave. Please listen to me. I said brave, not reckless. Yeet is a great exclamation to announce when you're excited. It's not a motto to live by. Reckless is believing that you have to be passionate about something to make it successful. Reckless is believing you only live once. Bravery is pushing yourself to either your physical or mental limits to accomplish your goals. Heck, bravery is setting goals and making a plan to accomplish them regardless of what life throws at you. Life is not all graduation parties celebrating how awesome you are and graduation cards full of money. I cannot sit here and tell you that you should follow your dreams wherever they lead you. Dreams don't make success, hard work does. As Mike Rowe said, don't follow your passion, but always bring it with you. Class of 2021, persevere through life's challenges, be humble in your successes, and be brave enough to make a plan for your future and stick to it to see where it goes. Thank you.
The class of 2021 has chosen their class speaker to be Pablo Torres.
Well, thank you for that. Good afternoon, family, friends, faculty, and fellow graduates. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my classmates for choosing me to give this speech. It's a great honor. Although COVID has made this past year and a half tough for many of us, we finally made it. After all the hard work, dedication, and countless hours on Zoom, it's finally worth it. This is only the beginning of the long journey that we call life. This major step in our early adulthood is something that we should feel very proud of. Not only does our diploma display our hard work, but also opens many doors for us for years to come. No matter where we may go after high school, whether it's to continue our education, go directly to work, or join the military, our experiences and knowledge will carry on with us. These experiences have formed us into the people we are today, and who we are today will help pave the path of our future. Wherever our future takes us, it will eventually lead us somewhere, and hope that for each one of us, this somewhere is success. Let this be a reminder that success is measured differently for each of us. At one point or another, we will all see success in our lives. As we move forward in life, it is important to acknowledge those who have helped us on our journey to success. At this point, I would like to thank all the teachers, adults, and all my classmates who have helped me get to this part of life. Our graduation today should stand as a representation of what we can truly accomplish when a goal is set for us. And once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and it was a great honor to get to speak today. As for the rest of my classmates, I wish nothing but the best for our futures. Good luck, and God bless.
All right, seniors, it's about to get real. Now for the presentation of the class of 2021, for the final time, Superintendent, Mr. Kevin Acuff.
Before I read this, that I read every year, let me just say congratulations. You could almost say I'm graduating with you this year. Elma School District Board of Directors, faculty, staff, parents, and community. It is my honor and privilege to hereby certify the class of 2021. This class has met all the graduation requirements set forth by the Washington State Board of Education, the Elma School District Board of Directors, and are hereby qualified to receive their commencement diplomas. I present to you the class of 2021.
At this time, we'll have the presentations of diplomas from the Elma School District School Board of Directors. Wait, I don't have a light. You get your name twice. Go ahead. Alondro Lopez Garcia with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Rodrigo Jesus Luna Castro. Kobe Middleton. Matthew Allen Oakes. Max Evan Olson. Jim Lloyd McCracken. Caleb Owen Knutson. Henry Leon Moreno. Riley Stilson Carrizales. Kylie Fern Servac. Braden Lestat Stefan Craddock. Tydrick Thomas. Gavin Kale Carulia. Taylor Noreen Kershaw. Mary Jane Caitlin Bristow. Zachary Tyler Reynolds. Go get him. Mac Flores with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Evan Gabrielle Kolpak with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Braden Alexander McMillian with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Jasmine Jinju Rab with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Lindsay Jean Leverett. Kaylee Dawn Newberry. Sarah Jane Bridge with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Derek Timothy Ritchie. Pablo Torres. Aaron Ellis Andrew Fagerness. Sage Nicole Ainsworth Pettis with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Charlie Catherine Densley. Anders Baker Rosalind. Talia Emery Summers. Raven Maya Janelle Kavanaugh. Kelsey Anna Hartley. And you guys are coming in hot now. Bradley Allen Bunch. Jace Allen Alms. Jevin Bly Badgley. Levi Gabriel Broadfoot. Kayla Elizabeth Aho. Kobe Michael Moore. Austin Raywing Courts. Daniel Scott Urquillo. Alexis Ramirez. Abel Benitez Alatorre. Nicholas Keith Church. Connor Lane Ice. Marisol Marino Ramirez. Jessica Marlena Contreras. Tucker Randall Simpkins. Gavin David Blackett with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Bradley Alexander Corella. Jocelyn Rojas with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Ryan Garrett Bryant Ward with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Good energy. Lannon Carter Revis with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Jimena Ramirez Lopez. Renee Garcia Torres. Eric Josue Bahina. Joseph Randall Giesemann. Go get him. Brody Allen Rustemeyer. Sawyer Patrick Witt. Guadalupe Cardona Luna. David Diaz Francisco. Seth Robert LaFontaine. Kyla Ann Bailey. Ethan Owen Evans. Elmer Eliseo Perez. You're gonna fall. Abby Jean Fritz with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Chomnon Nan. Cade Richard Zimmerman. Mercy Kimberly May Spencer. Jordan Riley Quinn Weber. Cole Samuel Odell. Mallory Allen Lormore. Taylor Renee Southerby. Dustin Arthur Downing. Danielle Lorraine Henry. Danny Jean Revis. Reeves. Justin Kyle Elliott. Clover Pearl Johnson. Congratulations. Justice Cheyenne Ababo. Jameson Anne-Marie Carroll with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Abraham Carlos Hernandez with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Noah Joseph Hull. Evelyn Starr Getzler. Tiffany Rayanne Davison Olson. Brett James Palmer. Taylor Renee Stevenson. Kaya Lynn Edenstrom. Isaac Christian Rathbun with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Kayleen Elizabeth Martin. Brady Paul Johnston. Jessica Jane DeMoss with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Yaire Salas Torres. Brenda Cardona. Anouk and Ariel Coons. Diana Stephanie Martinez. Actually, forgot what I was doing for a second. Ella Marie Moore with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Last one, baby. Noah Blake Hudela with Certificate of Academic Recognition. Your class of 2021. Ella Moore will now lead the tassel ceremony. Congratulations, class of 2021.
I wish somebody would have told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless. day.